Hi folks, welcome to the first game of the AAHA District Qualifying Round on the Friday 8 o'clock game against Philadelphia Snyder's team. Format of the weekend is 4 teams for the qualifiers. Snyder's would be Team Philly, Snyder, Genesis, and Philadelphia Blazers. Each play a round robin with the top 2 teams that win this weekend heading to a best of 3 game that would be next weekend. All right, so Team Philly is down 2 players today, Teague Murray and Trent Cricker. So starting lineup on the ice today for Team Philadelphia will be Christian McCooch, Lucas Mott, Nolan Stott, Jacob, Ricky, and Aiden Mott in net. All right, looks like we're all set. Christian on the face-off. Puck's dropped. One back, picked up by Ricky. Ricky send it back outside. Back over to Nolan. Nolan gets checked at the board. Snyder comes away with it, centering pass to the opposite side. Whiffs on it. And that'll be an offsides. Same lineup. Puck's dropped. Snyder sends around to the opposite side. Dumps it in. Aiden knocks it to the sideboards. Picked up back at the blue line. Now sent forward back over to Nolan. Nolan tried to get a hold of it, couldn't. McCooch is there. Sends it deep. Lucas, a little pressure on the puck. Back over to Snyder. Makes its way out. Nolan with a good jump of the puck. Turn it around, back opposite side. Christian with a shot. Scores! Lucas Mott with a wrister right out of the gate for the first score of the game. Second line, Jimmy, Caden with Connor, Toby, and Bop's back on the defensive end. Puck's dropped, sent back to the opposite side. Snyder picks it up, tries to clear it, runs into the referee, drops it back. Sends it back all the way. That'll be an icing call, yep. Puck's dropped, back out to Longo. Longo centers it back out. Bops kept it in the zone, picked up on the other side. Toby back over to help him out. Swipe attempt. Connor drops it back down into the corner. Caden back over alongside the boards, picks it up, makes a cut, tries to clear it back out. Bops gets it off his skates, picked back up. Caden slices it back over to Jimmy. Jimmy, ooh, gets a shot off and goes just wide of the net. Back out to Toby at the point. Toby drops it down, slided down by Caden, picked up by Snyder. Snyder tries to get it upside the boards, picks back up, clears back out, opposite side, back all the way to Bops. Bops sends it back into the neutral zone, picked back up by Jimmy. Snyder gathers it. Jimmy pressure into the corner, gets to the puck, looking for a little bit of help. Reed down on the puck. Reed gets to it, looks out, waits for a little bit of help, slides it back down. Snyder tries to clear the zone, back out to Toby. Toby. And makes its way all the way to the net. Lucas, Denny, and Reed out on the ice. Warner and Foster on the defensive end. Puck's dropped, back out. Reed swipes at it. Snyder kicks it back out. Denny gets it, back over. Jumps it back in. Lucas on the forecheck, back over. Oh, that's going to be Lucas. Lucas tried to swim the guy and so that'll be the first penalty of the game at the 14:50 mark. So referee's deciding. So they're going to call it a boarding, and so it'll be a 2 and 10. So Team Philadelphia will be down a man for the next 2 minutes at the 14:50 mark. So Jacob with Boot, Warner, and Foster out on the defensive end. Pick back up. Sent back out to the point, opposite side. Snyder tried to get a shot off. Foster's there to put his body in the way. Pick back up. Boot tried to clear it back up. And a score by Snyder. So evens it up at 1-1, the 4:34 mark. Caden out on the ice with Jimmy and Connor. Snyder gets it, drops it in, all the way back. Picked up by Toby. Toby back up to Jimmy. Jimmy gets it off his stick. Pick back down. Pick back up. Neutral zone by Snyder. Send it back over to the opposite side. Picked up by Connor. Connor driving down. Gets a shot off. Goaltender. Chests it down. Picked up by Snyder. Back along the boards. Toby's there. Drives it back. Toby tried to pick it clean. Snyder comes away with it. Now across the blue line. Sends around opposite side. One-on-one with Aiden. Nice save by Aiden. Extremely lucky on that. Back over to Toby. Toby looks up. Toby between a couple defenders. Gets his way around. Gets by a man. Tried to get a shot off. Puck dribbles past him. Still floating out. Reed back over. Reed sends it deep. Back over to McCooch. Toby's there. Knock it down. Back into the corner. Centering pass right by the goaltender. Snyder looks up. Sends it back. Centering pass back over. Denny on the back check. Picked up by Bops. Bops kicks it back over to Denny. Denny rotates. Looks up. Kick back over to McCooch. McCooch tried to get it over to Denny. And that's an offsides. Puck drop, one back over to Foster, loses it. Gets it back, thankfully. Back over to Denny. Denny cycles it back over to Reed. Reed back over to McCooch. McCooch drives, centers it back out to the point, over to Bops. Bops, shot. Oh, went back behind the goaltender, back out to the slot. Looked to clear it, back over to Foster. Foster drops it down. Picked back up by McCooch. Puck is floating right out in the middle. Still there. Foster can't quite get it. Bops back over, drives it forward. Snyder picks it up. Denny kicks it back all the way to Foster. Foster can't keep it in. Nice save by Aiden. So 1-1 at the 12:27 mark. Puck drop, sent back to the opposite side, picked back up by Connor. Connor's there, tries to clear the zone. Snyder keeps it, back up by Connor. That's still in the zone. Kick saved by Aiden. That's back over to Connor. Picked up by Connor. Connor tries to send it opposite side over to Nolan. Nolan picks it up, cycles back over to Ricky. Ricky gets it back up. That'll be an icing call. Vuk, Jake, Luca. Ricky back on the ice. Pick back up. Picked up by Jacob. Jacob kicks it all the way up. That'll be an icing call. Touch drop. Back out to the point for Snyder. Snyder tried to get a shot off. Picked back up again. Jacob knocks it back down. Kicks it forward to himself. Tried a centering pass. Back over to Vuk. Vuk sends it deep. Luka. Back over to Snyder. Back behind. Pick back up. Jacob with the check. Centering pass. Back over. Ricky. Back over to Aiden. Aiden taps forward to Luka. Luka out into the neutral zone. Cycled back all the way to Snyder. Sends it deep. No icing. Line change for Snyder. Picked back up by Jacob. Jacob works his way around. Gets it stripped away. Ricky back. Aiden with a nice poke check. Keeps it clear. Snyder back into the corner. Now it's picked up by McCooch. McCooch tried to cycle it back over. Jacob had lost his stick. Now it's back out to the point for Snyder. Sends it over to the opposite side. Tried to get a shot off. Now picked up by Denny. Denny's got two guys on him. Got Reed on the opposite side. Denny back into the corner. Tips it forward back over to Reed. Reed sends it back all the way to the opposite side. Bob's trolling the blue line, waits for it, gets it out. Now it's kicked back up. Snyder has to regroup. It's picked up by Bops. Bops sends it back out. Picked up by Jimmy. Jimmy streaking down the opposite side. Got Nolan right out front. Nice save. Good shot. Nolan's still there. Picked back up. Nolan gets it on strong side, looking for a little bit of help. Powers through, cycles back, hits Bops on the opposite side, looks at the point, gets a shot off. Another shot attempt goes just wide, picked up by Bops again. Back out to Stott at the point. Stott takes a shot, goes over the goaltender's head. Toby forces forward. There's going to be a tripping coming up. So Team Philly at the 9:19 mark will be on a power play. Caden Reed, Denny, Toby, and McCooch. Longo on the faceoff. Sorry. Reed swapped in. Back over. Sent to the back boards. Denny's over to help out. Tries to get to it. Snyder comes away with it. Comes across. Sends it deep. McCooch on the back check. Pick back up. Oh my gosh. McCooch charges forward. That was a dangerous opportunity for Snyder. Centering pass goes to the opposite side. Reed picks it up, drops it back out to McCooch at the point. Looks to set something up. McCooch. Opposite side pass to Denny. Denny tried to get it. Turns it back over to Caden. Caden tries to work his way out. Doesn't able to do so. Reed looks to it. Reed holds it, waits. Loses it. Minute 9 left on the power play. Toby gets by his first guy, comes across, charging center ice. Scores! Toby with an unbelievable wrister, top shelf on the opposite side for the second score of the game. The Team Philly goes up 2-1. So at the 8:13 mark, Team Philly up 2-1.
Free water. Of course, you can probably use the rest.
Yeah, that's the truth. Vuk, Luka, Jake with Foster and Bops. Puck stop. Sent forward, picked up by Snyder. Snyder back in the blue line, comes across the blue line. Shot attempt goes off the backhand. Goes over Aiden's head, picked up by Luca. Luca tries to clear the zone. Now it's picked up by Vuk. Vuk's got Jake ahead of him. Vuk comes across, back over to Jake. Sends it back up. Vuk had an opportunity, tries to swipe it forward center. Picked up by Vuk back in the corner again. Gets a shot off. Back over to Luca. Luca looking for a little help. Gets tagged at the boards. Gets free. Sent back up. Foster's there. Drop back down. Puck still floating. Snyder tries to clear the zone. Now does. Back in the neutral zone. Box is there. Gets it back over to Vuk. Vuk sends it deep. Line change for Team Philadelphia. Luca, little token pressure, waiting for his teammates to come on the ice. Now it's back over to Snyder. Snyder drops it into the neutral zone. Across the blue line. Back out. Aiden. Knocks it back over to Jacob. Jacob waits to clear. And that'll be an icing call. Nolan, Caden, Jacob out on the ice. Couple good saves by Aiden. Got lucky. Picked back up. Nolan charging forward. Tried to reach for it. Back over to Connor. Connor looking to get to it. Not quite there. Still below his feet. Now it's picked up by Ricky. Ricky sends it back over. Wrong side of the stick for Jacob. Jacob tries to get back over to Connor. Connor dumps it in. Goaltender knocks it down and will hold it. Connor, Caden, Nolan. Pucks back down, back over to Nolan. Nolan back over to Jacob. Jacob gets a shot off and goes over the goaltender's shoulder. Ricky tries to kick it down, gets pressure into the boards. Picked back up by Caden. Caden looking to get himself free. Peels back, gets pressured into the boards. Jacob holds it down. Snyder comes across. Centering pass, makes it all the way to the back boards. Jacob over to pressure. Puck still floating out there. Connor's back over, holds it tight, kicks it back to the opposite side, back to a Snyder defender. Jacob, pressure onto the puck. Caden back over to help him. Nolan looking to grab it. 5:53 left in the first period. Puck is dead. Pick back up, now it heads up to the point. Wow. Aiden with a great save. Puck got shot in. I think it was somebody kicked it and it was just floating out there. Snyder tapped it. Aiden with a good reach on his kick save. McCooch, Denny, Reed, Toby, and Botst. Puck dropped back out to the point. And Aiden just bodies it up, holds it still. McCooch, puck's drop, back out. Bops back over, sends it over to the opposite side. Reed gathers it, tries to push it forward. Still there, Toby sends it up. Still not outside the zone. Toby's opposite side, back over to Denny. Denny gets checked. Reed back with pressure. Toby gets it, sends it back over to McCooch. McCooch across the blue line, looks, gets a shot off, glove saved by the goaltender. Puck drops, Snyder gets it, sends it over to the opposite side. Trails into the corner, back out, makes it out to Bops in the neutral zone. Clears it back up, comes across the blue line. Shot attempt goes just wide. Pick back up, Reed, just outside of his reach. And Aiden gloves it down. .446 left first period, 2-1 Team Philadelphia. Jake, Vuk, Jimmy with Bops and Toby back out on the ice. Picked it back up into the neutral zone. Jake, token pressure. Back out, Bops kicks it back out over to Vuk. Vuk gets it, sends it deep. Vuk on his own forecheck, back along the boards. Tried to get to it. Swipes at it, Jake back over. Try to tap it back over to Vuk. Snyder comes away with it, Jimmy pokes at it. Bops tries to get in the way, picked up by Toby. Toby cycles back all the way over to Jake. Jake turns and tries to fire. It's not able to get there. Vuk gets it. Now it's back in the neutral zone. Snyder knocked it back themselves. Picks it back up. Sends it up. Knocked down by Jimmy. Jimmy gets it. Good stick down. Back over. Snyder gets it. Sends it over to the opposite side. Tries to drop it in, picked up by Foster. Now Foster comes away with it. He's got Nolan on the other side, picks it back up, works his way around, comes across the blue line. Back over to Caden. Caden's got an opportunity. Backside, puck is floating out, scored! Not sure who scored that one. I think it was Nolan, but I could be wrong. Oh, that was Foster. Foster with a backhand as that puck was just dribbling out front. So at the 3:43 mark, Team Philly goes up 3-1. Nolan, Caden, and Connor out on the ice. Foster and Warner, same lineup. Pick back up, center it back up. Nolan just outside of his reach, back over to Foster. Foster picks it up in the neutral zone, back over to Connor, picked up by Caden. Caden drops it down, back over to Nolan, picks it up. Ooh. Back alongside the boards. Opposite side, Snyder. Back over to Nolan. Nolan. Centering pass back out front. Caden had an opportunity. Toe drag, but was unable to get off the backside of his stick. Picked back up in the corner. He has it back. Back out opposite side. Back over to Connor. Connor sends it on net, but it goes just wide. Picked back up by Caden. Sends it deep. Back over to Nolan. Nolan muscles a guy. Got two guys on him. Caden looks to pick it up, now does, by himself. Cycles it back over to Nolan. Picked up by Connor. Connor looking. Gets a shot off and scores! Connor with a shot. Wrister off the goaltender's blocker pad side and gets this game to 4-1 for Team Philadelphia at the 2:48 mark. So Lucas back on the ice after a 10-minute penalty. So Denny, Reed, Ricky, and Toby. Denny sends it over to the opposite side, unable to clear the zone, pick back up, and that's going to be an offside. Center ice face-off. Puck drop, back in the neutral zone. Aiden's back there to pick it up, drives it around opposite side, clears the zone. Snyder's got to get to it. Oh, Lucas just outside of his reach. It's cleared back, tapped in. Snyder back along the boards. Good check by Ricky. That's back out over to Denny. Denny clears it back out, tries to. Lucas is there trying to hold it in. Ricky's back over. Now Lucas comes away with it, looks back up. Ooh, between the legs. Back over to Toby. Toby sends it deep. Lucas on the opposite side forecheck. Looks to beat his man. Centers it back out to Denny. Intercepted by Snyder. Comes across. Snyder 3-on-1. Back over to Ricky. Ricky misread. Back over to Bops. Bops back over to Denny. Aiden knocks it back down and corrals it. Caden, Jimmy, Connor with Foster and Bobst. Puck's dropped, back over. Aiden swipes it back into the corner. Bobst over in the corner, picks it up. Now it's into the neutral zone. Connor drops it down. Picked back up by Caden. Caden comes across, looking to drive across. Gets checked. Back out to Bobst. Bobst tried to kick it in the zone. Unable to do so. Snyder comes across. Sends it back over to Caden. Caden picks it up, drives it back around, sends it over to the opposite side. Picked up by Connor. Caden gets it out of the zone. Back out to Bobst. Opposite side, picked up by Vuk. Vuk centers it back over to Jimmy. Jimmy sends it deep, cycled back around to the opposite side. McCooch, just outside of his reach, back to the back wall. Aiden gets it, taps it down, sends it back up to Jimmy. Jimmy sends it back into the neutral zone. McCooch racing towards it, got three guys in front of him, stops, looks, gets a shot off, hits a defender. Opposite side. Snyder. Pressure. Into the corner. Nolan back over. Picked up center ice, back over to Ricky. Ricky gets it outside to Lucas. Lucas gets it over to Nolan. Nolan picks it back up after losing it initially. Looks up, waiting. Got a couple guys waiting for him. Got Jake, centers it back over. Picked up by Lucas. Lucas looked like got tripped. Shot attempt goes just wide by Jake. Picked up by Jacob. And that is the end of the first period with Team Philadelphia up 4-1. So after the first period, with an initial goal by Lucas, Snyder comes back on a power play goal. And then Team Philadelphia is able to plant 3 more goals into the net to make this a 4-1 game. All right, so beginning its second period. First line out, McCooch, Nolan, Lucas, with Toby and Bobst back on the defensive end. Looks like we're all set for puck drop. Puck's dropped, Snyder wins it back. Nolan charging forward, center ice picked back. Snyder gloves it down. Snyder back opposite side, gets it on the strong side. Gets a shot off, but tipped by defender's stick and goes wide, now back into the corner. Snyder sends it back out, tries to clear it back out. Toby gets it. Toby, he's got Lucas in front of him, now comes across. Toby makes his way around, opportunity. Ooh, had a backhand opportunity. Just couldn't capitalize, lost it. Tried to drop it into the corner. Lucas back over to help out. Snyder gathers it. Snyder tries to clear it back out. Gets it into the neutral zone. Toby's there, back over to Lucas. Pick back up. Lucas drops it in. Snyder gets it, sends it over to the opposite side, knocked back down. Lucas picks it up, looks for an opportunity, tries to send it back out, over to McCooch. Cooch gets a shot off. It was a good shot. McCooch coming off the ice. Caden back on. Snyder drives down, comes across the blue line. Tried to get into the ice, but could not. Now it's back out. Got Nolan streaking across center ice, looking to beat his man, tried to get around the corner, sent it back. Ooh, goaltender tried to knock it down, almost went in the net. Nolan picks it back up, comes across, centers, drops it back in. Connor just outside of his reach. Connor gets a good stick on it. Good check. Now it's picked up by Caden. Caden tries to keep it in the neutral zone. Connor's there. Now it's driven back in the zone. Toby swipes it back opposite side over to Bops. Bops opposite side over to Connor. Connor gets a shot. Connor's got such a wicked shot. Goaltender knocked it back down. Now it's picked back up by Toby. Toby takes a shot and goes wide. Jimmy tries to hold it in. Toby off his beak. It comes back. It goes all the way back. Toby on the forecheck. A little guy in front of him tries to tap it forward. Jimmy back over. Snyder holds it clean. Comes back in the neutral zone, back over to Foster. Foster drives it back over, and that'll be an offsides. Lucas Reed, Denny. Puck's dropped, back over to Foster. Foster picks it up, comes across the blue line. Tries to clear the zone. Reed reaching for it, back over, and that's an offsides. Lucas drops, picked up by Snyder, sent back. Denny tries to get it, centering pass, makes its way all the way up. Aiden tried to reach down for it, it's unable to do so. Centering pass goes off of Denny. Denny gets to it, centers it back out, now gets into the neutral zone. Snyder tries to send it back out. Denny's there, picked up by Lucas. Lucas tried to clear it back out to Reed. That's back over to Foster. Foster tries to clear the zone, unable to do so, picked back up. Shot attempt. Denny gets it back up. Reed charging forward, tried to beat his man around, goes off the referee's skate. Centering pass goes across the crease, back over to Lucas. Lucas swipes at it, holds it in the zone. Snyder looking for a little outlet, try to find it, does. Jacob loses its stick, gets pressure back over to Luca. Picked up by Snyder. Lucas is there, picked up by Toby. Toby charging forward, he's only got one guy in front of him, tries to avoid the stick. Tries to dance around a couple players, and unable to do so. Got two Snyder guys back, and that's an offside. Wow. Two Snyder guys were hanging back on the blue line. That was dangerous. Jake, Luca, Vuk. Ricky and Toby. Puck's dropped, Snyder gathers it. Centers it back opposite side. Vuk a little token pressure. Luca up the challenge, now makes its way all the way back. Jacob back in. Gets it back out. Clears it all the way back in the zone, no icing. Luca with a little token pressure comes back on the forecheck. Jake over to help him out. Give a little pressure on to Snyder. Now it's back over to Ricky. Ricky, good job, tried to clear it. Waits, centers it back over to Toby. Cleared back up over to Vuk. Vuk across the blue line. Gets a shot off. Nice shot. Knocked back down over to Vuk. Vuk looking for a little bit of help. Tries to pivot back out. Centers it. Back over to the opposite side. Snyder looks to get it. Toby picks it up. Toby tries to swipe at it. Now picks it back up. On the ice, got Lucas back behind him. Gets a shot off. Puck goes opposite side. Oh my gosh, almost went in the net. Picked back up a defender. Evan pops it forward. Toby just lets it go. Lucas checks into the boards. Light little check. Snyder comes away with it. Now across the blue line. Picked back up by Foster. They can't hold it. Foster gets it. Got a guy in his back pocket. Picks back up. Looks an opportunity. Gets a shot off, and it goes into the back protective netting. (12:18) second period, 4-1 Team Philadelphia. McCooch, Nolan, Lucas. Back on. Snyder sends it over the opposite side. Nolan over to pick it up. Gets it. Centers it back opposite side. Snyder, McCooch. Pressure onto the puck. Centering pass by Snyder. Tried to get it out of the zone. Unable to do so. Nolan with a little body check. Picked back up by Foster. Clears it back out. Snyder regroups. Got to draw it back. Lucas knocks it down with his hand. Now it's sent back all the way. No icing call. Bops picks it up. Bops centers it back over to Foster. Foster back over to Lucas. Picked up by McCooch. McCooch skirts it around the guy. Looks for an opportunity. Centers it back. Nice turnaround. Wow, that was quick action. Goaltender gets over and be able to block it. 11:28 left in the second period. Snyder comes across the blue line. Bops just pick it up, and that's going to be an offsides. Connor, Longo, Jimmy with Ricky and Jacob back on the defensive end. Puck's dropped, back out, back over to Jacob. Jacob looks up, kicks it back over to Ricky. Ricky holds it steady alongside the boards. Connor's back over. Picked up by Connor. Connor's got Jimmy on the opposite side. 2-on-1 opportunity. Oh my gosh, Jimmy fired it wide. Golden opportunity, got a good shot off. Good pass by Connor. Connor back along the boards. Ooh, checks. Guy lost an edge. Knocked back down, picked back up by Jacob. Jacob sends it deep, back along. Goaltender then puts a glove on it. .32, second period. Lucas, Reed, Denny, Toby, and Bops. Puck's down, back out to the point to Bops. Bops gets a shot off, kick saved by the goaltender, back over to Lucas. Lucas tries to center it back over. Face off, back over to Reed. Reed looking, waits, gets by a man. Looks back over to Lucas. Lucas, nice shot. Good play by Reed, dragged it back, waited for a defender to come to him, hit Lucas sitting in the slot. Lucas pulled back, got a shot off. Credit to the goaltender. Puck's back out. Reed tries to knock it down. Snyder comes away with it. Now it's cross center ice. Centering pass, back out to Lucas. Lucas gets it over to Denny. Denny. Oh, Denny cycled around, looked for Reed, thought he had turned his head. He wasn't yet. Now it's back out to the point to Bops. Bops sends it in. Back over. Snyder back out. Breaks two guys, include Snyder, gets a shot off. Aiden with a nice blocker side save. Sends it back out to the point. Sends it back over to the opposite side. Bops over to challenge the puck. Picked up by Toby. Toby sends it back. Snyder just can't control it. Now it's picked back up, back over to Reed. Reed's got 3-on-2. Oh, Lucas. Denny wasn't following on the backside that much, but Denny picks it up on an odd bounce. Scores! Denny with the wrister. Picks it back up. Snipe shot to the top shelf on the blocker side for the goaltender. So timeout for Snyder at the 9:22 mark. So 9:23 left in the second period. Team Philly up 5-1 on the latest goal by Andrew Denny. Evan Jacob, Vuk Luka Jake out on the ice. Vuk ready for the face-off. Puck's dropped, back out. Vuk tried to get free, was unable to do so. Snyder tries to send it back. That's picked back up, send it deep. Aiden back along, drops it down, picked up by Jacob. Jacob sends it back up to Jake. Jake gets a stick held a little bit. Foster charging forward. Snyder sends it all the way back. Picked back up, sent deep. Back over to Jacob. Jacob sends it back out. Good stick lift by Luka. Ooh, wow. Redirect. Aiden almost didn't get to it. Went right by him. Aiden with the steer back into the corner. Snyder looking a little more aggressive. Let's pick back up. Jacob tries to send it back up. Is unable to do so. Has his stick pinned. That's back up. Back into the corner. Snyder comes away with it. Drops it back in, back behind the net. Picked back up by Jacob. Jacob back over the opposite side to Jake, just outside of his reach. Picked back up by Snyder in the defensive zone. Look to regroup, send it to the opposite side. Nolan back out on the ice. Still back up. Is unable to do so. Vuk's there, drops it in. Nolan on the forecheck. Picks it back up, was looking for Lucas. Picked back up. Lucas there. Nolan, good pressure onto the puck. Gets a shot off. Shouldered down by the goaltender. That's picked up by Toby. Toby waits, clears, back up to McCooch. McCooch picks it up to Lucas. Lucas, back over to Nolan. Oh, try to feed it back over. Unable to do so. McCooch picks it back up, back out to Nolan at the point. Opposite side shot, goes just wide. Picked up by Ricky. Lucas lifts the stick, back over. Toby comes across, makes his way around a guy, comes around another one, looks to charge forward. He's got McCooch on the opposite side, back over. Oh my gosh, nice shot. Net comes off the post. Jimmy, Connor, Caden, back out. Connor picks it up, gets it back up, loses it over. Snyder looks to get it, sends it forward, back over to Toby. Toby, back below him. He's got a guy back on him. Now it's back over to Connor. Connor tries the centering pass back over. Snyder kicks it forward. Ricky puts pressure into the Aiden, sends it over to the opposite side, picked back up by Jimmy. Jimmy, nice pass back over to Connor. Connor is going to get one off. Oh my gosh, Connor. Such a wicked shot. Again, gets it. Toby waits for the zone to clear, gets by his man, looks to pull it back. Tried to get a shot off. Jimmy standing in front of him. Now it's back out. Ricky. Snyder. Aiden steers it back over to the corner. Sucked back around. Picked up by Jimmy. Jimmy. Oh, picked up by Reed. Reed, an opportunity. Oh, couldn't get off his stick fast enough. Got it knocked away. It was a great opportunity. 6:08 left second period. 5-1 Team Philadelphia. Snyder sends it all the way back up, and that's going to be an icing call. Lucas Reed, Denny, with Bops and Foster back on the defensive end. Puck's dropped back out to the point over to Bops. Bops backhands it to the back wall. Lucas back over to. Snyder controls. Send it all the way down. That'll be an icing call. Same lineup out on the ice. Puck's dropped again. Back out to the point over to Bops. Bops keeps it in. Reed pushes it forward, trapped alongside the wall. Lucas tried to come away with it. Tried to toe drag around. Back over to Denny. Denny knocks it forward. Tried a center pass, went angled off a defender's stick. Foster sent it in. Denny redirect. Goaltender sends it back over. Back out to the point, over to Bops. Scores! I think that was Reed with the redirect. I think that was, yeah, it was Reed on the redirect. A 5:13 mark, it's 6-1. Snyder bench saying it was a high stick. I had to disagree. It looked like Reed's stick was just below. Vuk, Luka, Jake. Puck's dropped. Picked up. Snyder. Hayden with a blocker side save. Back up to Jake. Vuk picks it back up. Sends it forward. Luka, forecheck. Oh, good shot attempt by Vuk. Goes off the side of the net. Nice shot by Luka. Centering pass by Team Philadelphia. Luka back over, drops it back down. Centers it back over to the opposite side. 4:37 left in the second period. Pass attempt gets knocked down by Team Philadelphia. Back into their zone. Snyder pressure. Jake with a good pressure onto the puck. Snyder gets it. Tries to send it clear to zone. Now they do. Ricky's there, good knockout. Back over to Jake, sends it forward. Line change for Team Philadelphia. Knocked back down over to Ricky. Sends it deep. Nolan out on the ice. Oh, tried to get a pass off. Back over to Lucas. Lucas looking. Back over to Nolan. Tried to clear it back out to Ricky. Pass. Nolan, back out of the opposite side, almost picked up by Cooch. McCooch gets it. Centers it back outside the zone, back over to Ricky. Ricky sends it forward, back over to Lucas. Lucas drops it in. Nolan on the opposite side, forecheck. Goaltender's there, back opposite side. Oh my gosh, had McCooch on the opposite side. Lucas picks it up, back out to Toby. Toby sends it back over to Nolan. Backhand by Lucas, centering pass. Gets cleared out and will make it all the way down. Oh, it actually, yep, for an icing call. Pick back up, Jimmy back out to the point to Bops. Bops gets a shot off. Oh, the puck. Goaltender couldn't control it. Back over to Toby. Toby tries to control it, sends it back in. Connor's there. Back over, Caden trying to pluck it clean. Now it's back out to Toby. Toby, nice little dance around. Centering pass over to Jimmy. Jimmy took a swipe at it. Goes off a defender. Back over to Connor. Centers it back over to opposite side. Bob's charging forward. Sends it back over to the opposite side. Picked up by Connor. Just cycling the puck around. Snyder looking to get something going. Comes across the blue line. Now center ice. Picked up on the opposite side. Now it's back out to the point. Shot attempt. Goes off of Connor's shin pads. Picked up back up. Centering pass unanswered. And that'll be an icing call. Lucas, Danny, Reed, Jacob, and Foster back on the defensive end. Lucas tried to kick it back out. Snyder sends it around to the opposite side, looks to get a shot off, knocked down by Foster. Picked up by Jacob. Jacob sends it back upside the board, back over to Denny. Denny sends it back all the way, tried to get Reed streaking up the opposite side. Lucas has to wait for the zone to clear, picks it back up to Foster, sends it deep. Goaltender stops forecheck pressure, back over. Denny back over to help out. Foster's there, picked back up by Jacob. Intercepted by Snyder, picked up by Reed. Reed back over to Lucas. Lucas just outside of his reach, couldn't control. Aiden knocks it back down, sends it back up, back over to Reed. Reed into the neutral zone. Lucas back over, goes off his skate. Picked back up by Foster. Foster sends it forward. Snyder sends it over to the opposite side. And that'll be an icing call. Vuk, Luca, Jake, Ricky, and Toby. Puck drop. Vuk swipes at it, sends it over to the opposite side. Snyder picks it up. Luca with good pressure onto it, back over to Vuk. Vuk looking, centers it back over to Vuk. Back out to the point. Ricky. Centering pass goes between two guys' legs. Outside the reach. Good tip by Toby. Toby reverses, comes back up. Knocked down. Jake was streaking on the opposite side. Picked back up by Toby. Toby gets it knocked down. Nice save by Aiden. .21 seconds left, second period. Puck's dropped just outside the reach of Snyder. Lucas over to help out, trying to pull it forward. Now it's back out. Lucas just outside in the neutral zone. Try to send it deep. Now it's picked back up by Ricky. Ricky back over to Nolan. Nolan on the backside had a guy tailing him. Lucas swipes at it, pushes it forward. Nolan dives for it. Back over to opposite side, and that will end the period. So the end of two, that's 6-1, and there will be an ice cut. So folks, gonna hold the frame here. for an ice cup, and we'll see you in a few.
You want interviews?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I am.
Whatever, all the same.
Welcome back, folks. For anybody who can't hear, there's Eye of the Tiger playing in the background, coming out of the locker room as Team Philadelphia makes their way back on into the ice. So after a good solid 2 first periods, 6-1 after a power play score by Snyder to make it 1-1. There's been 5 unanswered goals from Team Philadelphia. Looks like Team Philadelphia is going to rotate in Justin Adams into net for the 3rd period. Players are getting warmed up, stretching, ready for the 3rd period, excuse me. All right, starting out first line for 3rd period, McCooch, Lucas, Nolan with Jacob and Ricky. And like I said, Justin Adams in net. All right, on the face-off, all set, ready to go. Puck drop, Snyder wins it back, sends it around to the opposite side, comes across center ice, tries to send it forward, picked up by Nolan. Nolan picks it up, drops it back out over to Lucas. Lucas swipes it down, McCooch on the forecheck. Team Philadelphia doing a little zone pressure. Now it's back over to Ricky. Ricky kicks it back over to Nolan. Nolan drives it forward. Lucas on the forecheck. Back over to the opposite side. Looks to put some pressure on. Centers it back. Snyder comes across. McCooch there. Tries to take a swipe at it. Back over. Goes over Justin's head. Shot attempt. Back into the corner. Picked up by Jacob. Jacob. Back up. Lucas hits it off the backside of his stick. Cleared back out. Lucas gets pressure. Nobody's there. Picked back up. Oh, try to hit Nolan on the opposite side. Coming back through into the slot. Line change for Team Philadelphia. Jacob. Shot from the blue line goes over Jacob's head, or excuse me, Justin's head. Picked up by Caden. Caden cycles up. Got Jimmy in front of him. Got Connor on the opposite side. Caden comes forward. Looks back up. Gets a guy on his hip. Circles back. Gets checked back into the boards. Picked back up. Connor. Back over to Caden. Toby tried to center it back out to Connor. Sent back forward, picked back up into the neutral zone, dragged back in. Cross ice picked back up by Toby. Toby tries to get by a guy, gets chucked into the board, sent back up, picked up by Jimmy. Jimmy getting on his strong side, gets a shot off and trickled back down into the goaltender's basket. I think I had a bad camera angle on that. Lucas, Denny, Reed, Bobst, and Toby out on the ice. Snyder comes away with that out of the face-off. Charges forward, back over, Reed, a little token pressure back into the neutral zone. Lucas is there. Back over to Toby. Toby waits, got Denny on the opposite side, taps it in. Tried to set it back out to the point. Snyder intercepts it, back over to Reed. Reed putting pressure. Now it's back over to Toby. Toby drops it back over to Lucas, just outside of his reach, tries to pick it up. Snyder sends it back, check into the wall, now picked back up by Denny. Lucas comes away with it, loses it off his stick, back over to Snyder. Snyder grabs it. Snyder trying to put something together, having difficulty. A good team defense by Team Philadelphia. Slide back all the way to the opposite side. Snyder picks it back up, centering pass. Nice save by Justin. .13:57, forgot to start the clock. Net comes off the post. Vuk, Luka, Jake. Puck's dropped back over to Foster. Foster out on the ice. Vuk over to help him out. Foster tries to center it back out. Pick back up. Luka knocks it down, tries to get it outside the zone. Now it's back out, back over to Vuk. Vuk. Waiting, back over to Luka. Vuk back over to Luka again, back out to the point to Jacob. Kick save by the goaltender. Nice shot by Jacob on the opposite side. Good check by Vuk. Picked back up by Foster. Foster. Back over to Jacob. Back over to Vuk. Vuk. Shot centering pass gets intercepted right at center ice. Picked back up by Jacob. Nice save by Justin. Bad defensive zone turnover. Good recovery by Justin. Cooch out on the face-off, pick back up. Nice save by Justin, couldn't control it. Shot attempt goes over the goaltender's net. Pick back up. Ricky back over into the corner. Lucas is there. Tries to drive it back. Back over to Ricky. Ricky back into the corner, slides it back over to Toby. Toby gets it. Gets it back out to Lucas. Lucas just couldn't control it enough. Makes its way all the way back to the goaltender. Lucas cycles back around. Back over to McCooch helping out. Snyder has to regroup. Snyder loses an edge. Comes back out. Picked up by Lucas. Loses it off his stick. Lucas picks it up. Ricky decides to pull it back into the neutral zone, back over to Toby. Sent forward, no icing. Back over Caden on the forecheck, picks it back up. Carries it back on his knees, gets sat on. Snyder sends it back out to the opposite side point, can't control it, back out, sends it deep. Toby's back over there. Caden drives it around to the opposite side. Connor's back over. Connor picks it up, tries to clear the zones, unable to do so. Jimmy's back over. Caden picks it back up for Connor. Connor foot race. He's got the wheels. Has it knocked away. Good opportunity. Couldn't control it. Good defensive pressure by Snyder. And that's an offsides. Lucas, Denny, Reed. Puck's dropped, back over. Denny on the forecheck, back over to get to the puck. One, and there's a score. So turnover leads to a Snyder score at the 11:03 mark to make this a 6-2 game. Puck drop, back over. Sent deep, back over to Jacob. Jacob whipped on the puck. Back over to Reed. Reed gets it, puts the wheels on. He's got Denny on the opposite side. Gets a shot off. Goes off the goaltender's stick. Lucas knocks it down. Snyder picks it back up again. Lucas loses it. Picked back up by Denny. Denny. Back over. Oh my gosh. Lucas had a shot on net. Tried to hit Reed on the opposite side. Just one too many passes. Now picked up by Lucas. Shot attempt. Goaltender knocks it down. Picked back up by Lucas. Picked up by the point by Ricky. Ricky gets a shot off. Goaltender kick save back into the corner. Back out to Jacob. Jacob splits the defense. Comes back out. Guy picks his pocket from behind. 2-on-1 opportunity. Ricky's there. Ricky lays down for it. Wow, nice play by Jacob. Centering pass picked up by Justin. He lets it go into the neutral zone. Vooks over to put some pressure on. Picked back up by Jake. Jake knocks it back down himself. Tries to make a move around. Nice reach. Centers it back. Voot back over. Slides it back to the opposite side. Luca drops it back down over to Voot. Voot tried to get it on strong side. Bobs controls. Back over. Snyder does a line change. Keep losing some edges here. That's back over to Nolan. Nolan. Oh my gosh, almost toe dragged it around. Backhand, try to get the score. Getting opportunities. Shot attempt. Justin steers it back into the corner. Snyder back over. Sends it back out to the point. Centers it pass. Back over. Nolan in a foot race. Nolan's going to try to get there. Not sure what happened. Nolan came flying across the screen. That's picked back out in the point. Lucas puts pressure onto the puck back in the corner. Bops back over. Squeezes the guy into the boards. McCooch is there. Sent back down. Opposite side over to Bops. Picked up by Toby. Toby tries to get it back out to Lucas. Lucas picked up by Snyder back at the blue line. Justin with the blocker side save back over to Lucas. Lucas whiffs on the puck. Sends it back out to the neutral zone. Jimmy's back over there. Back over to the opposite side. Shot attempt. And that makes its way into the protective netting. Caden, Jimmy, Connor. Puck drop, picked back up by Snyder. Shot attempt goes past Justin. Connor, pressure onto the puck, back over to Evan. Evan picks it back up. Tries to clear it back up. Connor cycles it back. Evan puts it back over to Jacob. Jacob gets it. Ooh, try to pass. Dangerous pass across ice. Back over to Connor. Good stick by Justin to knock it back out. Jimmy looks up, centers it back opposite side, and that should be an offsides at the 7:17 mark. Lucas, Reed, Denny, Toby, and Ricky out on the ice. Puck's one back. Ricky sends it deep, swung around to the opposite side. Denny's on the opposite side, picks it up, drives it in. Sent back all the way over to Ricky out. Ricky again drops it back in. Denny on the opposite side, forecheck, picks it up, drops it back over to Reed. Reed, centering pass just outside. Toby tries to keep it in. Now it's 2-on-2. Ricky, Snyder drops it in. Ricky back. Snyder picks it up. Back out to the point, all the way to the opposite side. Reed, Justin with a nice save. Lucas tries to knock it back out. Shot attempt, redirect. Sent back out. Snyder gets it, pulls back around, cycles it back. Denny's there, loses it into the neutral zone. Justin knocks it back down, picked up by Toby. Cycles it back over to Denny. Denny pulls it back. Sent it back over the opposite side, over to Toby. Toby gets it out into the neutral zone. Reed's waiting for it. Snyder gets to it. Comes across the blue line. Back over, Book's out on the ice. Denny tries to clear it back. Wow, got lucky. Odd bounce for the puck. Shot attempt. And that'll be an icing call. .531 left in the game. 6-2 Team Philadelphia. Puck's dropped. Nolan back on the opposite side. Nolan sends it deep, back over to Jake. Jake's got a leg on it. Jake gets tapped. Sends it on net, floating right out in front. Goaltender lost it. Bops on the back check. Luca cycles it back over the opposite side, over to Jake. Jake looking up, sends it back over to Vuk. Vuk drops it in, all the way to the opposite side. Luca on the forecheck. Line change for Team Philadelphia. Caden whiffs on it, looks to drive it back around. And Justin with a nice save. Definitely a little change in momentum. Snyder seems to have a little bit more activity going on. Team Philly seems to be a little bit more relaxed. Need to put a little more effort. Back down. Picked back up by Ricky into the corner. Slides it back over to Jacob. Jacob loses it back into the corner. Snyder on the opposite side. Picked up by Ricky. Ricky, again, dropping around the opposite side. Dangerous opportunity. Justin does a good job of putting a glove on it. Caden. Shot attempt goes off of Team Philly's shin pads, back out to the point. Jimmy tried to clear the zone, unable to do so. Snyder. Now it's picked back up by Jimmy. Got a couple guys trailing him. Off the side of the post. Caden's there. Try to pick it up. Snyder on the attack. Swipe back around to the opposite side. Connor over on the attack. Gets it. Drops it back over to Ricky. Ricky sends it back out into the neutral zone. Snyder player trips over his own man. Sent back out. Jimmy drops it in. Line change for Team Philadelphia. Lucas is out on the ice. Snyder cycles around to the opposite side. Lucas gets it back over to Jacob. Back over to Denny. Denny tries to center it back over to Lucas. Snyder sends it around to the opposite side. Reed waiting. Snyder gets it across the blue line. Good stick by Jacob. Jacob sends it around the opposite side over to Toby. Toby dishes it around to the opposite. Picked up by Jacob. Jacob picked up by Reed. Denny tried centering pass, picked up by Snyder. Snyder changes. Back over to Denny. Pick back up. Back in the neutral zone. Denny sends it deep, and that's an offside. 2:51 left in this game. McCooch, Connor, and Caden pick back up. Connor dumps it in. McCooch sends it back over to Nolan. Nolan picks it up, sends it into the neutral zone, picked up by Snyder. Snyder sends it back. Nolan back over, picks it back up. Nolan gathers it, sends it back over. Connor just keeps it pinned in the zone. Back over to the point. Snyder back over to the opposite side. He tipped it. 2:02 left in the game. Good job by Caden to pick that puck up. Picked up by Bops. Back over to the opposite side. Into the neutral zone. Luca, Vuk, and Jake out onto the ice. Vuk lost it between his legs. Luca, pressure onto the puck. Vuk's there at the wall. Picked up by Luca. Sent deep. 1:33 left. Good pressure by Jake. Snyder comes away with it. Picked back up by Vuk. Vuk's got one man in front of him. Now it's got another guy. Picked back up. Oh my gosh, had Jake and Luca. Neither one of them could pick it up. Odd man rush. Nice play by Bops to lay his body down. Back centering pass. Back over, 57 seconds left. Snyder reached for it, couldn't quite get to it. Back over. Tap forward into the zone. Bops back into the corner. Puts a body on. Foster tries to clear it back out. Reed's there. Now cycle back out to Lucas. Lucas has a guy on him. Oh, try to hit Reed on the opposite side. Had him in his vision, was unable to do so. Denny's there. Oh my gosh! Denny takes a swipe at it, and that puck dribbles into the net. And looks like a Snyder player is called for unsportsmanlike. So 23 seconds left, 7-2 Team Philadelphia. Lucas is there. Picked up by Denny. Now it's by Reed. Excuse me, try to get the puck off. 10 seconds. Back over to Denny. Back over the opposite side to Jacob. Kick save. Backhand to the opposite side, and that should just about do it. And that does do it. So 7-2 is the net result. Overall, good game from Team Philadelphia. So that'll conclude the first round game for Team Philadelphia. So the next game tomorrow is at 7:45 p.m., not a.m., against Genesis.
I know, I thought I'm like.
So everybody stay tuned for that, and we'll see you folks.